It's your boy Javon Street Garvey, and you know it's Grindseason Radio, man. Like I said today, man, we got a real special guest of people that came through today, and it's pertaining to Antone White and Hicks. And for those who don't know who these two men are, that's what we here for today. And we're gonna break down everything that's going on with them. Basically, these are two guys who have been convicted for something the jury didn't find them guilty for. Am I right?
Yes.
Correct.
Well,
Okay.
They were not.
well, they continually getting punished for something that they wasn't convicted of.
Right.
They're sentenced for conviction, but they're continuously getting punished for something that they wasn't convicted of by a jury of their peers.
All right. So I know the main thing is cause I know they got two senators who's working on these type of cases like that.
Yeah, they got
Dick Durbin and Grass.
Yeah, one from Iowa and Illinois, right?
they introducing a bill
Okay.
that's addressing this acquitted conduct.
It's relevant conduct policy. Relevant conduct policy of the U.S. sentencing guidelines, which allows the judge to sentence a defendant for crimes in which she'd never been charged or acquitted, as he just mentioned.
All right. So for those who don't understand what we saying, basically, I know they was charged with.
They was charged with enormous racketeering and conspiracy charges.
Okay.
But recently, with the First Step Act, if I'm not mistaken or misspeaking, they became eligible to come home. But a judge took it upon herself she, in her own words, said that they were eligible, but she has discretion to use relevant conduct that they wasn't charged with. I mean, that they wasn't found guilty of, to continue to leave the life sentence on both of them brothers. Now, I mean, the facts don't need no support. I mean, it's just, she said this out of her own mouth.
So
In her opinion, in her opinion on the proceeding.
for the people who are listening, I want y'all to let them know who y'all are and which role y'all play, and y'all can start kicking it off with what y'all said, one. Y'all gonna start with one or three? Which one?
Yes, I'm Danny Hutchison Jr.
Okay.
I am a co-defendant of Antone White and Eric Hicks. I did 16 years in prison. I was affected also by relevant conduct, and not to the extent that they were, as you can see. And I pass it on to my brother.
Good evening, I'm Derek Bay. I am also a co-defendant of Eric Hicks and Antone White. I served a total of 12 years, 4 months, due in large part to relevant conduct because they stated that based on their opinion, I shouldn't be eligible for parole at any time during the course of the sentence I was given.
And I am Missy Hicks. I am the wife of Eric Hicks, one of the gentlemen that are here discussing today. And here with my brother to push this agenda out there and to bring more awareness to our case.
My name is Ronald Hughes. I'm also co-defendant of Danny, Doomy, and Eric and Antone. I served 27 years. And the majority of my sentence was relevant conduct.
Hey, my name is Delonte Wilkins. I'm family friend of Antone and Eric, and both I'm a community organizer with Link Up, and pretty much trying to use my position and organize support for Eric and Antone and other unjustly sentenced prisoners.
So our goal today is to get the message out to the people because we need the people to take action, not just listen.
Absolutely.
We need people to take action.
And so the first thing we need is for the people to know what relevant conduct is.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know what it is, and when you explain it to them, they can't really believe it. So as the brother over there began to explain, relevant conduct is the policy where the U.S. sentencing guideline allows the judge to sentence a defendant for crimes of which he was never charged. So make sure y'all hear that. Sentence a defendant for charges or conduct in which he was never charged, crimes which he or she has been acquitted, or crimes which were dismissed, as long as the government is able to prove by preponderance of the evidence, which is the lowest standard in the judicial system, that the defendant committed this conduct, then the judge has a discretion to enhance that individual's sentence based on that particular conduct. Whether you were indicted of it or not, or whether you were charged with it, or whether it was dismissed. So you can be charged with the murder, and a jury can say, find you not guilty of the murder, and then the judge will come back and say, well, I feel by preponderance of the evidence that you committed the crime, and then enhance your sentence or charge you or sentence you as if you committed that murder, even though the jury found you not guilty.
I'm living proof.
Right.
Yes.
That sentencing, the judge told me, even though I was not found guilty of the murder, he felt as though I committed the murder. So he's going to sentence me to life.
A question. So, do the judges base it off prior history, or they just go off just that case alone? How do they come up with just to say, okay, now, no, this is, I feel like this is you? Do they base it off what?
Well,
Well,
they base it off
supposedly-
standards. You have standards in the judicial system. You have preponderance of the evidence, which means you may have done it or you may not. You have clear and convincing, which speaks for itself. And then you have the strongest standard, like the trial standard, not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's where from a jury of your peers. So that's what we're saying. Preponderance of the evidence is the standard for relevant conduct. So the judge could just be like, yeah, I think you did it, and then use that to enhance your sentence.
Man, this right here, the more and more I keep hearing it, because I done heard it 1,000 times, and every time I heard it, it sounded more crazy to me.
My grandfather got life. You talk about right now, they turn his points on. You probably know him. Hey, William Brooks, they locked up.
It's a whole lot of people locked up right now across the United States for these unjust laws and these unjust sentences that's being handed down. Don't you want something?
This relevant conduct undermines two things. One, originally when they first started utilizing what they call the RICO Act, Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizational Acts, against young people in predominantly urban communities, and conspiracies against groups of people who may have hung out as children and stuff, and then say, well, you know what, we believe that you all are conspiring to live a certain lifestyle, or conspiring to do things that would be considered illegal, in the American judicial system. What happened is, with this relevant conduct, it undermines what they're saying, because their argument back then was, well, the reason why we have these sentencing guidelines is because judges were unfairly using their discretion to sentence people to longer sentences based on a lot of other mitigating factors like race, economic status, stuff like that. Now they come back with what they call irrelevant conduct, and they're now using discretion the same way that they said that the sentencing guidelines were supposed to take that away.
The safeguard.
So we have what there's a word called syllogism. So a perfect example of a syllogism is when you use deductive reasoning. You say, for example, if you say the sky is blue, and I say to you, well, anybody think the sky is blue stupid? Well, I just called you stupid. But then you say, well, you call me stupid? No, I just said anybody that called the sky blue stupid. So what happens is when they use deductive reasoning when it comes to the rule of law, when a jury comes out and they says, well, we don't believe they did that, and then the judge comes back and say, yeah, I don't really see how y'all saw that, because based on the things that I see, I think they did. So now the judge has, this goes into the second point that I'm hoping to be able to make, and that is undermining a jury trial. You have two types of trial, a jury trial and a judge trial.
Right.
You have a choice. We elected to have a jury trial.